So, this morning we had the producer live letter, the 74th producer live letter. Now, naturally, I don't speak Japanese, which is one of the reasons why I kind of like stopped following the live letters, as they go on, because, I just be looking at the screen and I'm like, yep. Yeah, I'm sure you're saying something really wise, Yoshi P. I'd love to be able to listen to it and give you my input on it. But in reality, I can't understand a damn thing you're saying. It's like I really miss the few times that they've done the translated live letters, because those I can actually follow and understand what they're saying. There's still the slides and stuff like that, and I do have those up on the official, not official, but like the Reddit Final Fantasy 14 Discord server, where they kind of like translate some of the things going on. But Quazii has already made a video about it, and Quazii is amazing. He's been doing amazing coverage on Final Fantasy 14. So here's what we're going to do, team. We're going to go over to Quazii's video, and before we begin watching it, I want each and every one of you here on stream or later in the YouTube video, if you happen to be watching this on YouTube, you're going to go to the link that's going to be in the description on YouTube, or you're going to go to the link that I'm going to post here right now, and you're going to play this video right now. And then you're going to mute the pane. You mute the pane, like you can mute it up here. And then we'll watch it together. And that way Quazii still gets watch time. And also we're going to pre-like. And let me go ahead and mute this. And we're pretty much good to go. I think that my face is going to be a little bit on top of Quazii. So we'll swap over to this. Perfect.
Friends of the internet, welcome back. Today we are talking about Final Fantasy 14 producer live letter covering patch 6.3, and in this video I want to summarize everything in a succinct fashion, everything you need to know about patch 6.3 that was covered.
I expected patch 6.3 to be a little bit earlier. But early January is actually a really good time because there's nothing happening. I mean, nothing that I personally care that much about around January, I don't think. Which is good. Like I thought that was good. It might have been November or something, but I haven't really been following the patch cycle too closely. But it's a good thing that it's early January, because I think that the first thing that we need to cover next year is going to be February. So that's good. Name of the patch is going to be God's Revel, Lands Tremble. All right.
Covered by Yoshi P and team on the producer live letter. Now I know the title already excites you, but before we start, Yoshi P actually wanted to thank everyone for your support in the Final Fantasy 14 journey. He made a remark that roughly 10 years ago from now was when the 1.0 servers were shut down, and basically they played their famous trailer that everyone is basically in love with. And he wanted to take the opportunity to just thank everyone for their support, all the warriors of light who have been on this amazing unending journey with the Final Fantasy 14 team. And he jokingly said he remembered those days where he had to do apology streams because the servers were so unstable and the infrastructure was not set up properly. What a long way they have come indeed. And with gratitude out of the way, let's kind of dive into the meat of the producer live letter. But before I do that, a usual shout out to Iluna and Miuna of the 14 Discord for transcribing. Also, do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. That will mean the world to me as we continue to grow this wholesome community of warriors of light. And with that, let's dive right into the first topic. As you can see from the screen here, patch 6.3 is titled God's Revel, Lands Tremble. I think in similar vein, patch 6.2 had a title that had a dual meaning. It had some form of significance for the raid storyline as well as the MSQs, and I can totally see this happening. That's just my speculations though. And let's get one of the biggest announcements out of the way. When will the patch 6.3 actually land? And we had a very big discussion about this on this channel in one of my videos. But it seems like all the guesstimates that we did on an Excel spreadsheet seems to be leading towards the right direction. It will come in January of 2023. So you wouldn't be raiding 6.3 and doing all the great content over Christmas. Do enjoy your time with the family and friends. Yoshi P also reiterated that he previously mentioned that it would be too stressful for his team to release, big content patches during the holidays, because naturally people need to be on standby. And I think he mentioned in previous major patches launches, he actually said that he will be wide awake waiting for bug reports in case there's any all hands on deck situation that needs basically fixing the servers or anything like that. And naturally the implications here for the 14 team is, well, they're humans too. They need holidays and they need to recharge with their family and friends. And that's the reason why he wants to avoid the holiday. Yoshi P also wasn't too committal on which date in January. I think vibing off one of the responses he saw in chat regarding 3rd January, he said it was personally okay with this date, but he wasn't too explicit and didn't go into a big discussion discussion about this, but you can sense a bit of reservation because 3rd January is still very close to the New Year holidays and some people might still be on vacation. So it does sound like we might get it in the following week in January. Alright, with patch 6.3, it's the 0.3 patch, and normally that is a very anticipated patch when it comes to the MSQs because normally that ties up the entire arc for the expansion storyline. And 0.4, 0.5 will normally set up the next expansion, but remember, Endwalker doesn't work that way. Yoshi P and T have previously reiterated that, it will take all the way to 6.5 to end the arc for Endwalker. And so naturally in patch 6.3, when we talk about new main scenario quests, new MSQs to do, we can be looking forward to more new adventures with Zero, which by the way, Yoshi P said he's very glad that Zero is basically a very well received character. There's also a screenshot of the twins being showed, so it seems like Zero will be going on new adventures with the various Scions, in a brand new reflection that is foreign to herself. So that's something that I'm sure we are all looking forward to. I don't want to go into too much speculations in case of spoilers. Aside from the usual MSQs, we will also have side quests that...
Dude, I feel so bad. I haven't even gotten around to doing Tataru's Grand Endeavor. I haven't done it at all. Feels bad, dude. Poor Tataru's just sitting there waiting. Where's my Warrior of Light? Where's Rurikhan? And I'm just like, sorry, Tataru. I can't.
Is coming in patch 6.3. Tataru's Grand Endeavor continues as everyone's favorite Potato and Lalafell basically embark on new journeys. You might see a familiar face here from Stormblood if you guys can recall, and Tataru is back in her traditional outfits. And for the people who completed Stormblood, the background will look very familiar to you, and I guess there's no prizes to guess where the quest will actually...
It's in the worst zone of the game. This quest takes place in the worst zone of Final Fantasy XIV. I mean, come on, challenge me on that. Is anybody going to tell me that Ruby C is not the worst Final Fantasy XIV zone? 100% the worst Final Fantasy XIV zone. Come on.
Actually take place. Alongside that, we'll be getting brand new Hildebrand adventures. If you haven't done the Hildebrand unlock quest for the new relic weapons in Endwalker, I think most people would say that the Endwalker Hildebrand cutscenes are actually a notch above previous expansions. I guess that's with a bigger budget as well. Yoshi P had previously said that it's actually really expensive to craft all those Hildebrand scenes because of all the custom animation and whatnot. So they're reinvesting further into more Hildebrand content that you can do in 6.35. If you haven't checked it out already...
The Hildebrand quest lines always remind me of... What was that? It's Gary's mod. They remind me of Gary's mod. You used to see so many videos back in the day of people doing crazy stuff with the Team Fortress 2 models. And Hildebrand is basically like Gary's mod, but on Final Fantasy XIV.
Strongly encourage you to check out the Endwalker Hildebrand stuff. And I guess case in point here, right? Hildebrand looking silly, staring up at, some form of beam coming from the sky. And I wouldn't spoiler you about who's that figure on the right if you haven't done Hildebrand already, but it's definitely worth doing. And Yoshi P jokingly said that they spend so much time checking the symmetry of basically the characters that you see on screen. I guess more specifically for the character on the right, they wanted to make sure that the model is exactly symmetrical. Except for the hair, of course, the hair can't be symmetrical, right? It's pointed to one side. And some of you people might have already guessed it, with more Hildebrand naturally comes the next advancement of the Mandeville weapon questline. So we'll continue to take our relic weapon into...
By the way, I still haven't crafted my relic weapon, but I'm probably going to craft the Paladin one, because I've been raiding as warrior. Because it's just like, look, it does get to a point where playing Paladin, while it's viable, it's not, you're not really going to be bringing your best foot forward playing as a Paladin, let's put it like that.
The next phase. And in similar veins to Hildebrand, this is the screenshot that they featured for the Mandeville weapon questline to continue. I mean, the picture kind of speaks for itself. It's crazy, it's wacky, it's out of this world. I have no idea what's going on, but I think it's a fun ride. We will be also getting brand new tribal quests, and you might be like, wait, tribal quests? Wait, that sounds like, pretty much the ordinary. But this one is special, I guarantee you. Because ladies and gentlemen, it features everyone's favorite mascot, the Loporrits. Take note of what you see on screen though is for the Disciple of Hand, so you can definitely expect more crafted tribe quests to come in 6.35. Okay, and with a brand new MSQ adventure, naturally, in patch 6.3 you'll be getting a brand new dungeon as well, which is titled Lapis Manalis. And for the folks who can read the characters on screen, it will already give you the hint it is a snowy, icy mountain. I think more accurately a cave. And this is the screenshot they decided to feature. So back into the icy winter, and maybe this kind of tells tallies with what you saw earlier with the twins and the new Zero screenshot. There was snow in the background in that picture as well. So I don't know if they're interrelated, maybe it's a coincidence, but time will tell. Alongside a brand new dungeon, we'll be getting a brand new trial as well. Naturally, this trial will not be disclosed in terms of its name, but I think people who finished the patch 6.2 MSQs, you can have a very good guess of...
I mean, we killed Barbarisha, we didn't really kill Scarmiglione. I mean, I guess we... Does it count as dead? I don't think he actually died, right? I think he can still, like, recover due to the state that he was in. So it can potentially be Scarmiglione at that point, but it could also be one of the other elementals. I don't know. There was also a fire elemental and a warrior, a water elemental. They go into more detail into that quest that you get to do after you finish the MSQ.
Who's the big bad that is coming in this trial. This is definitely tied to the advancement of the MSQs, and I think a lot of people will agree that patch 6.2 EX trial is probably one of the best EX trials in recent times, so we shall wait and see what the brand new trial is like. We are also getting a brand new Unreal trial, in this case it's Sophia. I have fond memories of this fight, by the way, because it's one of the very first trials I did as a Sprout, and getting knocked off the platforms repeatedly over and over and over again live on stream is definitely one of my more embarrassing moments, but also one of
I soloed this trial extreme during Shadowbringers.
more comical moments. Yoshipi commented that there's so much brain training in this fight, obviously because I guess you need to triangulate where you should be positioned. And ladies and gentlemen, I think the next one is what a lot of you are waiting for in patch 6.3. And that is the brand new Alliance raid. And why is that so? Because with every brand new Alliance raid, Soken-san basically comes up with an absolute banger of a soundtrack. Like I've said before, 6.1's In the Balance is actually one of my most played songs this year. But yes, patch 6.3 will see the second tier Alliance raid for Endwalker move over. Aglia this time round is titled Euphrosin. And he also remarked that the first Alliance raid was a lot more popular than they anticipated, and I really wonder why. Maybe a part of it was, I guess, the success of Endwalker's launch. I think
it was mostly the success of Shadowbringers. Not necessarily the Endwalker launch, but of Shadowbringers. Why? Because a lot of people were super hyped up on Shadowbringers, so, you know, Endwalker comes out, everybody's playing Endwalker. Like, Endwalker is probably one of the most successful expansions that they've done. That's not to say it's the best one, but it is definitely one of the most successful ones, I think, because it came in on the massive success that was Shadowbringers. And people who played Shadowbringers, they stuck along throughout the Endwalker, patch cycle. And then when the raid came out, everybody went in there, and it's probably a lot more people than they were expecting because people were just like dying to jump into content.
Definitely saw an influx of a lot of new players, so maybe that's what contributed to the outperformance of the first tier Alliance raid. But other than that, I think the first tier Alliance raid Aglia was also a very good encounter. You know, there's a fails compilation on my channel here, some embarrassing moments on stream when I did it blind. Definitely got debated by so many mechanics, and I think that also contributed to the fun factor. It was just a very original raid. A lot of the mechanics are very new and original. They also showcased some brand new screenshots from the new raid tier, and Yoshipi jokingly remarked that what is this person carrying on his backpack? It looks like a, slots machine from the casino, or it's something like those old school phones where, you bring around this gigantic bag and the phone comes with a satellite antenna that you need to stretch out and whatnot. But jokes aside,
this looks like Grahatia. But why would he be wearing these clothes? It would have to be disguised, but no.
He mentioned that in terms of timeline, they are about to start testing the brand new Alliance raid internally, so that's also a sign that everything is on track for release. There's also another screenshot showcase from the brand new Alliance raid here, and they hilariously discussed this on stream. They said that this looks like the Windows XP background. If you guys remember Windows XP, default wallpaper basically looked something like this, except with a bit more greenery, a lot more greenery actually. And as Yoshipi concludes the Alliance raid here with his trademark phrase, please look forward to it, the next bit is arguably the most exciting and the biggest highlight of the brand new producer live letter. It is the ultimate raid tier for 6.3. And I know a lot of you are waiting for this moment. So without further ado, this was the slide that they presented, and naturally all the screenshots are nothing new. We have already seen coils, we have already seen ultimate weapon, we've seen Alexander, we've seen the Dragonsong ultimate. So what is next? Obviously, the speculations is it's probably a fight from Stormblood. A lot of people are saying they hope to see Kefka, a lot of people are saying they hope to see Omega, but only time will tell. It seems like it will be kept very secret for now. The brand new Ultimate Raid tier will be launching 2 weeks after patch 6.3, which means that folks, you raiders out there are gonna have a very busy January if you're looking to be one of those first few to get your hands on the shiny new weapons. And obviously the stream just went wild in terms of speculations, you know, Twitch chat, YouTube chat kind of exploded with all these guesses on what the fight will be. And Yoshi and team are basically having a good laugh about it, like all these speculations. Someone randomly tossed out Tataru Ultimate, which definitely drew a chuckle out from Yoshi, but Yoshi then said that in the next producer live letter, in part 2 of 6.3's producer live letter, which I suspect will be sometime in December, he will be sharing more about the brand new Ultimate fight. He did comment that designing these fights are very difficult, so he doesn't want to give too much away at this moment, but we'll get more details, I guess, on the fight itself in the next producer live letter. But folks,
imagine not just like putting it on a server on a PTR somewhere and telling your community to fucking go test the fight because they can't be bothered to test it themselves. What? Oh, I'm sorry. Did that actually? I was just thinking that. I can't believe I actually said that out loud.
So for brand new Ultimate, it's always such a joy to be part of this community because, well, everyone's just watching the race to world first, right? Including myself. That's always a very fun ride. So yeah, free content for everyone in January, not only from the patch itself, but also watching the race to world first. So just to reiterate again, this launches 2 weeks after patch 6.3. So I know a lot of you are making plans for January already, including looking for new statics. You might want to keep that in mind that it'll be a busy January. And moving on from Ultimates, he showcased this new screenshot, which he then revealed that this is actually the brand new Deep Dungeon. And I know I covered this on this channel, I think about 6 months ago. Yoshi already started teasing a brand new Deep Dungeon to come. Heavensward had a Deep Dungeon, Stormblood had a Deep Dungeon, but Shadowbringers basically took a pause on Deep Dungeons and they're bringing it back in Endwalker, starting with basically what you see on screen here. Here's another angle of the new Deep Dungeon.
I'm just thinking to myself that I've never even went above floor 100 on Palace of the Dead. I gotta get like a party going and we gotta go do the Deep Dungeon. I gotta go to the highest floors possible. I've never even been up there like on a group because I'm always trying to solo it like an idiot. Gotta get a party going, go to actually the highest floors. Gotta do the same thing on Heaven on High because this is gonna be the third one.
I mean, those textures to the left definitely kind of reminds me a lot of Alagan textures. There's actually prerequisites which is required for the brand new Deep Dungeon, which by the way is coming in patch 6.3.
Eureka Orthos? Players must first complete main scenario quest, Endwalker, and progress to floor 50 of Palace of the Dead. What is Eureka? Oh, that's the Deep Dungeon. It's Eureka Orthos. It's a Eureka Deep Dungeon?
5, so not in patch 6.3. They obviously want to stagger the content releases. The most important prerequisite that you need to know is that, well, you need to have finished Endwalker in terms of MSQ 6.0. You also need to have already progressed to floor 50 of POTD or Palace of the Dead, which by the way, I also need to do because I didn't do Palace of the Dead yet. And just because there's a lot of folks who joined the 14 franchise in Shadowbringers.
Dungeon whose architecture changes each time players enter to explore. Yeah, that's what Deep Dungeon is. Players begin at a designated level and gain experience as they progress towards the deepest floor. Deep Dungeon specific arms and gear are enhanced via play. Yep, it's pretty much the same way. Entry available for groups of 1 to 4. No role restrictions. Difficulty unaffected by party size. Wait, is Palace of the Dead the same thing, where the difficulty is not affected by party size? I thought it scaled. Yes, this is a new Deep Dungeon. I thought it actually scaled. I've been doing Palace of the Dead on hard mode, and I wasn't even aware of it.
Like me, maybe you have not done Deep Dungeons before. Yoshi and team actually summarized what a Deep Dungeon offering is in terms of a new horizontal side content. Just to very quickly recap the slides. A Deep Dungeon architecture changes every time a player zones in to explore. You start at a specific level and you gain experience as you work towards the next designated floor.
Also, here's a quick tip for anybody attempting to do Deep Dungeon solo. Hug the walls. Because the traps are usually not like really attached to the walls and the traps will mess you up. So you want to like try and hug the walls as much as possible unless you can't.
You can enter in group sizes of anything from 1 to 4 players so you can solo this, and there's no role restrictions that you need to know about. Yoshi P commented that in terms of game mechanics itself for this new Deep Dungeon, it will be similar to previous Deep Dungeons, but there'll be also some new twists and turns that he will cover in the next producer life letter. So if you're looking forward to the brand new Deep Dungeon, which is titled Eureka Autos, just keep in mind there's prerequisites that needs to be done, and we can all look forward to maybe some gameplay footage for the new Deep Dungeon. Question mark, we're not sure, but Yoshi P did say he'll give more details in the next producer life letter regarding this Deep Dungeon. As per all the major patches, they are always improving the new duty support system. Some of these improvements have been delightful. If you have not done the new The Vault with the new trust systems, I strongly urge that you do it. There's some new voice lines, as well as some flavor color text from NPCs that you might be familiar with. But yes, the duty support revamp for Heavensward continues, as they'll be updating the Great Goober Library, the Etherochemical Research Facility.
See, dude, this is something that is so important for MMOs to do, and most of them don't take the time to do it. This is the reason why, to me, Final Fantasy XIV is going to remain like my main MMORPG for a long time to come, because they're constantly concerned about the new player experience. Like so many MMOs, they'll just like, oh, let's, the players are going to be up to date, right? Here comes the next content. Here comes the next content. Let's go. Next and they just don't think, but what about the new players? What are the new players going to do? Oh, we're going to rush them along. It's like, no, let them experience the fucking content and make it so that they don't have to wait as much in queues. This is exactly what you need to do. In Karmajin, you should definitely play Final Fantasy XIV again. If you stopped in the Stormblood post MSQ, you stopped right before the game got exponentially better. Shadowbringers is the way. It's like so good, dude.
Tower Sokai, Zelvatol, and Belsa's Wall. Yoshi P hinted that the Etherochemical facility is undergoing a redesign, specifically with regards to the third boss, and he basically assured people, no, he's not changing history, don't panic folk. And with all new major patches, there will be job adjustments, which Yoshi P confirmed. He said that there's no plans for big changes except for Paladins, which would see quite a big rotational change, so I guess as a Paladin main, there's something for me to kind of relearn.
Was about goddamn time! I expect to see good things, Yoshi! Fix my fucking Paladin, man! Fix my Paladin! Time has come! 6.3! 6.3 is when I go back to my Paladin. And before it gets even worse, shut the fuck up.
And he stressed that it would fully change, and I don't know what that means, but we'll know in due course. His team is currently testing the internal changes, and they'll be revealing more of the Paladin changes in the next producer life letter. But it sounds like other than the Paladins, there will not be major job revamps or redesigns. As you know, job balancing is a very...
I am so much more hyped now, dude. Give me those Paladin changes now! Bro, I'm so hyped! I am so hyped. Make Paladins great again. Were they ever amazing? I don't actually know. When was the time that Paladins were like the best? Was that ever the case?
Hot topic in the 14 community, and the reason I would say 3 to 6 months, especially during the 6.2 Savage Raid release. So I know this is a very anticipated topic as well. Be assured I'll cover this in the next producer life letter. Brand new PvP update is coming. Crystalline Conflict is getting a brand new map, it seems. As you can see from the last bullet point here, a new arena. This might just be the hook for me to get back into Crystalline Conflict. When Crystalline Conflict launched, I was massively obsessed with this thing. But actually, once I've gotten the rewards and the ranks I wanted, I've kind of relaxed and stopped playing as much. But a brand new arena just might be the reason for people to get back into Crystalline Conflict. But before I show you a screenshot of the brand new arena, just keep in mind the Series 3 for Crystalline Conflict and PvP will start, which naturally means there'll be brand new rewards. Don't know if it's cosmetics, whether it's mounts, I guess we'll know in due course, but there's new rewards to be earned. But here you go, this is the brand new arena. The biggest question is, what is this brand new gimmick in this map? Because with every single map for Crystalline Conflict, there's always a brand new gimmick. Whether it's sending you flying the air on the cloud map, whether it's, the volcano map that has lava and fires going across. We don't know what the new gimmick is, but maybe in the next producer life letter.
Not every map has a gimmick. That map that looks like a stadium doesn't have a gimmick, right? The one that just looks like an esports thing, that one doesn't have a gimmick. I'll take that one. That one's like my favorite map because there's no gimmick. Although that's not right. I like the explosions one as well. The one with the exploding bombards, that one's fine. But the one that sends you flying in the air, I hate that one. I friggin' hate it. It really annoys me. It's not as bad now because I think I've moved the UI thing that tells you when it goes on. But like by default, the UI thing that tells you when it's about to go on was in such a terrible position that I was like, bro, I could never see it coming.
Yoshi P did say something that is music to my ears though. He said that the cloud map is not as popular as a stage versus the other two maps. And
of course it's not, because it's terrible. I just spoke about this. The cloud map is terrible. Like I even remember when we were grinding Crystalline Conflict, I remember even saying like they could delete this map and the mode would be better. Actually, just like delete the map and the whole mode would be better. As a matter of fact, there's probably a way to figure out when the maps are changing. I should just like get it on my like a note or something where it's like, hey, when this thing is changing, I'm done. I'm not playing this map. I hate that map. Also, look at this. This thing here is highlighted. Why?
In terms of map rotations, they will be reducing the chance of that appearing, which is music to my ears. Because honestly, if you watch me on Twitch, you know that that's my least favorite map as well. I just feel like it's
nobody
way
likes
too
that
open.
map.
There's less maneuvering and being tactical about it. And it's really interesting that they're looking at the data of which map is being played more or less. They also showcase another screenshot here from the new Crystalline Conflict Arena. I don't know what to make of this, but I'm guessing they're giving us a clue of what the new gimmick is. Moving on from Crystalline Conflict, we also have brand new crafting and gathering updates, including brand new tool enhancements quest coming in patch 6.35, and we have a screenshot related to that, which Foxclon made a very astute observation. Why is it that weapon makers and tool makers, they are always not wearing clothes? It's a good question. There will be brand new custom deliveries as well, and Yoshi P teased that he bet that the player base cannot actually guess who is it for. I guess time will tell. He did showcase this very cute screenshot though, obviously taken at UMAC, but I have no idea what this thing is. It actually looks really amusing. Alright, some changes that you need to know for crafting and gathering. Lots of words on the screen, but let me highlight what's important. Interestingly, they have added a brand new spear fishing zone in A Realm Reborn, and this will be added to Upper Lanosia. It will also be the very first place in A Realm Reborn that features diving, a feature that obviously they added after A Realm Reborn, right? And Yoshi P says he's very heartened that his team continues to want to add all these new features to all zones. And it's very clear, right? Again, from statements like that 14 is designed by Yoshi P and team to be a content that is, evergreen, that new players can always come in and still have fun, and they wouldn't find the old zones outdated in any way. They showcase some really gorgeous pictures. Obviously, this is the diving site I'm sure that he's talking about, but here's the underwater view. I really like the god rays that is coming through into the water. Alright, moving away from the water to something related. Your island sanctuary. Did you forget about your island?
What's the island sanctuary? I dropped that thing so bad. I never went back. I've never went back to the island sanctuary. I gotta go back. It was like I bought the motorcycle and that was it. Like, yeah, I like this bike. Never coming back here again. Bye.
Island sanctuary, folks.
It was fun.
Now, before we dive in, Yoshi P reminded everyone that, like he previously mentioned, Island Sanctuaries will get major updates every 2 big patches. So, given we have Island Sanctuary in patch 6.2, the new feature will be in 6.4. So what they will introduce for 6.3 for Island Sanctuary is considered minor updates. In my opinion, there's nothing to scoff at though, although Yoshi P, I think, jokingly also said, and he reminded people, he said, please don't rush through the new Island Sanctuary content.
Oh, dude, it's gonna be like day one. You guys remember on the first time that Island Sanctuary came out? What it was like? Like, people had spreadsheets indicating when the mobs spawn, what the Eorzean, the rare mobs, what the Eorzean times are, their coordinates, like all of these things. They had this shit day one. Day one, they had a table that pretty much spoiled everything. And I'm just like, bro, what are you doing? Try to enjoy the content a little bit before you go full meta. Oh, man.
which I find hilarious because I know it's very hard for the 14 community to do sometimes. You know, no matter what he says, I'm sure there'll be spreadsheets about how to min-max stuff. But as you folks can see, there'll be brand new stuff that you can deploy currencies for, new sanctuary ranks and versions, new items that you can exchange for materials, crops, animals, and handicrafts that you can exchange for. Here's a brand new animal that is showing up. I think there's a hippogriff if I'm not wrong. We also have a ferocious looking tiger, kind of sinister red eyes here. And we have something adorable like this, which Yoshi said this is actually not a minion. They also showcase a brand new building. This looks like kind of like a playground.
It's a roller coaster!
Like me, this is kind of up our alley, you know?
Dude, it's... Oh no, it can't be a roller coaster. Wait, but these could be tracks. It could be like... Okay, there needs to be a ride. I want to sit on it, and I want it to go like, wee, wee. No, dude, they have to do it. Come on. No, it's actually not. You can see that. This is oh, man. How are you going to not do a little tram ride? That'd be amazing. Like a little roller coaster. Wouldn't that be awesome? A little roller coaster?
He then again reminded everyone that for patch 6.4, the next new major patch, they'll be developing more new features for island sanctuaries, including the placement of garden furnitures like he said before. And he said he wanted to do that previously to allow for more customizability on an island to differentiate your island from mine so it doesn't look exactly the same. There will also be quality of life changes coming to Island Sanctuary. Firstly, you'll be getting notifications whenever your friends visit your islands. You'll also get a collect all button for all the stuff that your animals leave for you, so you don't have to go and click on them one by one. And you don't have to run into the pesky scenario where you finally catch a new rare, but if your slots are full, you might have to let your rare go, because they fixed that. Under the third bullet point, animals under care will also be eligible for release upon a new animal's capture. They've also improved the workshop interfaces. I know a lot of people found the supply and demand stuff confusing. I guess they are streamlining that. But yeah, he concluded Island Sanctuary by saying that there'll be
the streamlining of that will be useful, because it took a lot of like, okay, let me check. Are these in high demand? Okay, they're not. Then let me go back and like, let me see what I can craft, what's in high demand. And having to constantly jump between those menus was indeed very annoying. It's like, this is how you know that these guys are on top of the shit, because, you know, the feature is perfectly functionable. Like I can operate my island as it is. Like this is a very minor thing. Like going up and figuring like, okay, this is in high demand and this is in high demand, and these are two things that I can kind of like craft together for bonus. This makes sense. Having to navigate those menus was just a little bit annoying, but it was perfectly functional. It was a perfectly functional user experience, but they're like, no. Perfectly functional is not enough. It needs to be good. And they're going to go back and change it. This is how you know they're on top of shit.
A lot of new updates to Island Sanctuary in 6.4, so I guess let's just wait and see. Everyone's favorite Endwalker Zone Elpis is also getting a brand new treasure hunt. More seriously, the new treasure dungeons will only spawn in Elpis, and we'll get more details in the next producer live letter regarding this. It seems to be named the Shifting Gymnasium Agonon. The name doesn't really give away anything, does it? Very minor Ghost Saucer update. There's brand new Leap of Faith to look forward to, so you jump puzzle enthusiasts can basically look forward to that. And I think this might be the most underrated change in the producer live letter they're announcing, but this is regarding housing. There will be additional wards for all residential areas, 6 regular wards.
Listen, you see this bit of news and Gaijin's going like... This is Gaijin when he saw this, like, oh shit, here we go.
Plots plus 6 subdivisions, which equates to 1,800 new plots per world, and is planned for sale by lottery, and details regarding, FC versus private plot distribution will be announced at a later date. He'll be talking more about this in the next producer live letter. There'll be also more details provided via Lodestone. Yoshi and team continues to improve the user interface of Final Fantasy XIV. Specifically, icons for damage type will now display in the battle log and flying text. So the 3 different damage types, physical, magic, and unique, will have respective icons that you can see on screen here. And I really like this next one, the ability to display remaining time for buffs and debuffs in the party list. I think this is
this is because there was an add-on that did this, and people were like, we really need this, and they're like, all right, here you go. This one is one of those situations where I think that people got banned for using it, and now they're just putting it in the game. You're gonna hear Xenos talk about this, I bet.
godsend for a lot of you raiders out there. And Yoshi kind of made quite a funny remark. He basically said that he understands that, a lot of people keep saying that they need to use third-party solutions because they are unable to track all these timers, and he said, well, basically this is a solution, here you go. And I think this is definitely a sign that they continue to want to introduce new features to the UI that people are asking for, and this is something very heartening, of course. Each improvement, each patch is basically another brick in terms of the wall that he's building.
Okay, Yoshi P, what we really need next? Here comes the hot shit. Who's ready for the hot spiciness? What we really need next is a damage meter. Do it, Yoshi. Come on. Give us a damage meter.
And it's all coming together quite nicely. There'll be a brand new UI theme as well, so if you're kind of bored of your colors on Final Fantasy XIV UI, there's something coming in the horizon. Yoshi P does not have a screenshot, but I guess they'll show it soon. Also, portraits will now display when using the duty finder. Here is an example to the top left of the screen here. Here's another look at it in terms of 8-man content. Some other quality of life changes that is updated. Expansion of available actions when using fashion accessories, so G-Post people rejoice. You can now cast glamours and dye retainer equipment without removing it. And you can also cast glamours on your own equipment directly from your retainer's inventory. So for the people who filled up all your glamour slots, well, this is a solution. By the way, Yoshi P also made a side comment here. He said that blue mage changes are on the way. He said just be patient a little more, but they're on the way. And I don't know whether this is a brand new feature, but we will wait and see. And so folks, that's basically all the important things that you need to know for the new producer life letter, everything that you need to be excited for in patch 6.3. Naturally, I think most people will be very, very keen to try out the brand new ultimate raid, the brand new Alliance raid, the brand new Deep Dungeon. Hopefully you folks are lucky at the new housing wards as well, but let me know in the comments below what you're most excited about.
It's like my brain took a little bit longer to click on this. Ability to cast glamours on your own equipment directly from your retainer's inventory. This means that basically your retainers now count as the glamour dresser. So any gear that you have on your retainers, you can now glamour. That's actually huge. That's actually a really big deal.
Well, eager to hear your thoughts. Last but not least, kind of an announcement. I'll be joining the official Final Fantasy XIV community stream for North Americas on Sunday night for you folks. I'm very excited and also very honored to be able to talk about patch 6.3 live with you folks on the official channels of Final Fantasy XIV, so I hope to see you there. Last but not least, do subscribe to the channel. That will really mean the world to me, and I'll be sure to keep you posted on everything Final Fantasy XIV. I stream on Twitch from time to time. Feel free to swing by to say hello. Last but not least, big thank you to my Patreon subscribers for keeping the channels alive. Have a fantastic day, folks. I'll see you soon.
That was really good.
Friends of
I am super pumped for the Paladin revamp. I think more than anything else, it's like, dude, give me my Paladin revamp. I want to dedicate more and more time to my Paladin, and it's just like right now there's one activity that doing in my Paladin, it's very hard to justify because the warrior just does it much better overall. It's much easier for my raiding party to just have the warrior there because they barely have to heal me at all. Even during tank busters, because I'm just like, yep, I'm just tank busters coming. Pop a cooldown, pop what's it called, bloodwetting on top of that, and then after the tank buster hits, pop the equilibrium. I never know the names of abilities, but yeah, pop equilibrium, boom, and it's like, oh, tank buster, it went away. It went away. It didn't even exist. You compare that to the Paladin, gets fucking bitch slapped even after say a rampart on top of a Sheltron or a Sentinel with a Sheltron on top, gets bitch slapped around, still hurts like a motherfucker. It's like it's not even remotely, and then try to like friggin' land wings or get your Divine Veil to proc on like when a cast pops up. It's like, yeah, good luck with that. Or you want to interrupt your rotation, heal yourself, or hopefully you'll be in the middle of your magic rotation so that you don't have to actually interrupt it. But yeah, it's completely different experience, basically. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to see what changes they bring to it. Hopefully, do something useful with cover because nobody uses cover. Let's just be completely honest. And yeah, maybe make wings not be a complete nightmare for people that play on controller because of fucking snapback. But anyways, there's so many things that I could say about Paladins. But yeah, I'm super hyped about the Paladins thing. Sure, new Alliance raid will be good. The I'm not going to be doing the ultimate anytime soon, I don't think, so I'm not overly concerned about that for now. But yeah, the deep dungeon will also be very interesting to dive into. Kind of makes me want to do more deep dungeons. I might just have to like do a stream at some point where I recruit people here from chat and we go into a deep dungeon. We just go like all the way. We'll go from like the highest floors, all of that shit, and just try to get as many rewards as possible. I want to reach the final floors of both Palace of the Dead as well as Heaven on High. I really did not, all this time, I did not know that those dungeons don't scale. I thought they scaled based on how many people you had in them. Yeah. Wings needs an upgrade to be AoE around Paladin. Maybe. I don't know what the solution is. I don't know what they're. I don't want to be the. I don't want to be the guy that says, "Oh, currently it's bad," because I really like the way that it works. The problem is that in practice, it's a pain in the ass. Because like, I like the idea of get behind me, and I'm putting my shield up. Like, I love that idea. But when you're in a raid where everybody has to be moving super fast because you're savage raiding, everybody has to be moving super fast, be positioned super fast, trying to get people to be disciplined enough to like, hey, stand behind wings. It's like hurting a bunch of 5-year-olds that are in the playground. You need to get them back inside because it's about to rain. It's about the same thing. I'm always like, fucking stack so that I can do wings. And then I get snapped back and I fire off wings in the complete opposite direction. It's like, fuck! And then I throw my controller. No, it never happens. I never throw my controller. Never broke a controller in my whole life. And that's not happening anytime soon. Anyway, like I said at the start of this video, if you weren't here at the start, do make sure to give Quazii, this Quazii video some watch time. Hit the like button on it. What the fuck? I've been subscribed to Quazii. Look, this is the second time this shit has happened. Not the second time to Quazii, but I've been subscribed to people and YouTube just fucking unsubscribes me. This actually explains a lot. You know that I've lost like damn near 200 subscribers over the last couple of days? It's ridiculous. I saw you resub before. It was Quazii? See, Mr. Tummy Giggles even saw it. What is going on? YouTube is literally unsubscribing me from people. Like, what the fuck? YouTube, stop. We have proof now. It's so weird because, like, I remember you called me out as well. Because I was like, I was watching the video and I was like, hey, I'm subscribed to Quazii. What the fuck? And then you were like, you called me out that I was not subscribed to Quazii. And I was like, what do you mean? I know I'm subscribed. I've subscribed to him like back when I first saw his content, which was all the way back in the start of Shadowlands. Was when I first subscribed to Quazii because I was following his guides. And then YouTube unsubscribes me. What the fuck is this? Like, stop. Oh, man. Anyway. Yeah, make sure to watch it, give it a like, subscribe if you're interested in this content, and yeah, good video. Really good stuff for 6.3. Can't wait.